Peace, everybody. You're now tuned in to Moors in America. Before we get things started up, just want to say a couple of things. First, I want to thank you for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about our illustrious prophet, and I'm talking about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, American born, brought Islam to our people here, misnomered as Negro, Black, colored, and nowadays African American also. And this is a very important topic for us. So before we get started, though, I just want to make sure that I do a few things. I want to make sure that I rise and give the highest of praise to the Most High Father God Allah. And I want to extend a high honors to our divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, for bringing us our divine creed and nationality so that we may learn to love instead of hate. I extend honors out to the forerunner, Brother Marcus Mosiah Garvey, for preparing the way for our prophet. And I extend honors to all adepts, all sheiks, and all faithful Moors that make up the grand body of the Moorish Divine and National Movement. And I extend honors to the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheik appointed by the Prophet, Brother Emili Il, and also honors to the current Supreme Grand Sheik, Brother Kenu Umar Bey of the Unity Temples. And I extend honors to the Grand Council of the Moorish Science Temple of America and all officials. And I also extend honors to all the faithful Moorish American Muslims and just all light bringers out there in general. And I ask also that you click like and share this video, help to spread the message, help to get the word out. Just do your part in sharing it. We're not running a bunch of ads and videos. And I see that sometimes YouTube even makes it where even if you click the bell so that you get notifications, they come through and unclick it, which doesn't make any sense. But I've seen it happen with one of my own accounts. And then people have been saying this too as well. So I know it's, definitely something going on here is happening. So good evening, everyone. You're listening to the True and Living Lightbringer Moors in America. As always, I'm your brother Lloyd Douglas, also known as Sharif Ali. Here we are uncovering and bringing glorious light to all issues pertinent to the Moorish American paradigm, because that's what we do on this podcast known as Moors in America. And also, since we're also streaming from the YouTube page for Temple 30 Unity Temple in Columbus, Ohio. So if this is your first time watching on that page, make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. So this is amazing. We're streaming the two platforms at once, and we have our also our two sheiks at Temple 30 with us, and that is Brother D. Clement L., chairman of Temple 30, and we also have Assistant Grand Sheik, Brother J. Cole Bay, here with us, and we're going to be going, talking about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, discussing our prophet, making sure that everyone comes away from this with a thorough understanding of who the Prophet Noble Drew Ali is, why we honor him, why we even mention his birthday, why do we hold to this, why do we even care? It's important for us, and I'm sure everybody will have a thorough understanding of that once you watch this video. So just stick with us. If this is your first time here, hit the like and share button, hit the subscribe button, and also make sure you hit this little bell they have on there so that you get notifications. All right. And just a couple things I want to do today. Let's see. One of the brothers hit me up on Facebook and asked to share his video. I'm going to do that right now. Actually, I'm going to share that with you as soon as this thing stops. Waiting on this to stop real quick so I can get that going. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to, and more as I'm trying to do a couple things at once. So let me go ahead and switch over here to Facebook. Hopefully you can see this. Okay, Facebook, and where are we going? We're going over here. I'm going to pull this video up for you. This is from the brother Crip Jesus Zamore, based out of Los Angeles, California. And this brother shared this video. We still in Morocco. I'm not going to play the whole video. I'm not trying to catch any strikes, but do want to share some of his content. Make sure that you go over and subscribe to this brother. Putting out some great information. Moorish American, member of Temple 80 out there. All right, so just make sure you go and subscribe to that brother on YouTube. Also, the Instagram account. I think you might have heard that music. I was trying to show the video clip, but I don't think it was coming up. But here we go. I'm about to share this with you right now, Morris, and make sure you go and subscribe. As he said, remember Temple 80 in the middle of one of the most dangerous hoods in America, A-Trade, Gangsta, Crips. And I mean, they're doing great work in the community, Moors, not just talking. You got a lot of people out here that's talking, that's running their mouth, but then also you have some really good people, really good Moors that are out there putting in work. So I just wanted to share this brother's video with you, and I'm pulling this up right now. We're not gonna play the whole thing because I do want you to go over there and subscribe to that brother on YouTube. But this is a song from the brother. As you can see, it says, Crib Jesus, we still in Morocco, MSTA, Temple 80.
Yeah, we right here. We ain't going nowhere. Yeah. We still in Morocco, and we still ain't found a chosen prophet or apostle. And we still see rappers die every day like Pop Smoke. They gon' do you like P&B, rock at Roscoe's. Ain't take off, the chain don't take off. We still got shot though. Gotta bite my tongue on this one. One say a lot though. For real, one say a lot though. Yeah, we still in Morocco, yeah, but we still on the block though.
Okay, so I did not mean to close that out. I was trying to just show you the brother's page on YouTube. Make sure you go and subscribe to that brother. I'm gonna pull that right back up. I'm not gonna play a song, but just so you could check that out one more time, Crib Jesus. Make sure you go over there, subscribe to that brother on YouTube. Making great music, but more importantly, Moorish American unapologetically, right? And so, yeah, that song, we still in Morocco. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Let's get those numbers up for the brother. Also, share that brother's videos too. Hit like, share, tell everybody you know about it. Subscribe, hit the subscribe button. He's got the website, blackilluminati.com. I know the brother also put out a book or some books. Definitely have to check those books out. Make sure you go to the blackilluminati.com, go to the brother's website, support, help spread, share the information, share the knowledge, share the wisdom, get this out there because this is like for real, brother's actually doing it. He's making some good music. So I checked this out. Definitely recommend it to you all out there. So yeah, share that like that. And also while you're on YouTube though, make sure you go to moorsinamerica.com. If you're not there right now, go and check it out. If you are on the Temple page watching this, go to Moors in America YouTube. Make sure you subscribe, and then also hit the bell. This is my channel, so you don't see it, but hit the bell so you get the notifications. If you scroll right down, you see the Temple page right there, Temple 30. If you're not subscribed to Temple 30, make sure you go and do the same over there. There's the bell. There you go. Right, hit that bell so that you get all, because I saw YouTube, they took like mine off, man. So make sure you hit all, you subscribe. You're going to get all notifications for all upcoming videos, and do the same for Moors in America. Make sure that you are subscribed. Share this information. Share this. Get this out all over the world. Share this with everyone. And on that note, Moors, we are going to go ahead and get things started up. And I want to say, before we do so, I just want to say that I appreciate you all for coming here. Hit like, hit share. We're going to get things going. We got the Moors in America video. Peace.
I am not a Negro, black, colored, African American. I'm a Moorish American. Peace.
Yeah. Hey, 5 on the right, 2 on the left, man. You know what time it is. Yo. We just Moors in America, soared through the shores and endured criminal acts of war on our character. 7 years after the fourth score, no reward. Shout out to the most courageous, they was jumping over barriers. Where does that compare to you? We come from a place where you scared to visit our area. We come from a place where it's scary for good Samaritans. Heavy luggage we carrying, babies having babies. It's crazy being American. Praise the one and only Allah, there's no comparison. La ilaha illa Allah, body and buried in. Laughing at you clowns like ha-ha, dodging the Nephilim. Conquer lower self with the high, follow your regimen. Way before they came we were gods and now we specimen. Tried to take the light from our eyes, thank God for Edison. Then they put the wool on our eyes, it's so embarrassing. Now we travel frequently, we should invest in Sheraton. All of us got gold on our bodies whenever we stepping in. Screaming Ramadan Mubarak, training the flesh again. Wishing we could move as a unit just like the Mexicans. Dodging all the foods with estrogen, synthetic medicines. All sin isn't devilish. Sometimes the decisions that you make come for a better gift. Sometimes when you sin is to relate to all your brethren. Heavenly gates all in our face, we the champions. We live in the sky, we see the angels on the chariots. Waiting on the $20 bill, face a Harriet. I bet you I'ma carry it. I'm in love with music to the point I wanna marry it. But my love for people is greater, so I write messages. Largest spending power, but we still sit at a deficit. Living amongst prejudice, even at our residence. Moors in America, flourishing, excellent. Let's buy up some neighborhoods and groom our own president. Yeah. And I come to you today with all intentions of spreading love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
Islam peace. We are here to bring light to this incredible topic, discussing our Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And before we even really get into things, this is just a couple of things that we need to say to put this topic in the proper light, in the proper understanding. Before we even really get started, to really talk about this, we have to put this in the proper setting, right? We have to, because this brother, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, born in 1886 on this day, January 8th, which is why we're doing it today on January 8th. He was born in 1886, and he started bringing this understanding to our people of who we truly are, and getting us to come together and to work together as Moors to build ourselves up, to come into Islam, to realize our true divine nature. He started this in 1913, right? And I want you to understand what was actually going on, or what is actually going on in the world right now. What was going on back then. And when I say that, I say this because in order to understand who Prophet Noble Drew Ali was and is, you have to know these things. So we have a brother who came here, somebody who was born in America, one of us, who came to bring us a message at this point in time. Now, he also brought us a book, and it's called The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. When we go in that book, when you go into chapter 48, right? Last chapter in the book, very last chapter, 48, it says the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. The last prophet in these days is Noble Drew Ali, who was prepared in due time by Allah to redeem men from their sinful ways and to warn them of the great wrath which is sure to come upon the earth. So just off of that title alone, right? You may see this and think, oh, the end of the world, end times, apocalypse, right? This is what just common thinking. This is what the common thought will be. The end of time. It's the end of times. It's the apocalypse, right? But when you come in and join the Moorish Science Temple of America, when you come and become a faithful Moorish American Muslim, you know that there's more to this than meets the eye. Even just, you know, that the understanding of what this is really saying, the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. Because as a Moorish American, when you just join the temple, first join the temple, you already know what this is really saying, because you go to chapter 2, very second chapter in the Holy Quran, and you go down to verse 12. It reveals something. It says, we measure time by cycle ages, and the gate to every age we deem a milestone in the journey of the race. Now, if you look at 13, just to go forward a little bit, it says, an age has passed. The gate unto another age flies open at the touch of time. So another age opens. As one age ends, another one opens. All right. And so you already have an understanding, just even as a person who just joined the temple, you already know we measure time by cycle ages, right? We don't just look at time as this linear thing, which is what we're given, what we learn in school, what we learn in this society, right? So when they're hearing the end of time, they think, oh, the end of the world. People don't even know really what to think. But right away, the prophet gives us a new perspective, an ancient perspective. So now, right off the bat, even as a brand new member, you already have an ancient Moorish mindset where you can look at this, the end of time and the fulfilling of the prophecies. You know that one age is ending and another age, another cycle is beginning. So now you already have a mindset that is advanced, far advanced compared to, you know, average person just walking around here. The average person walking around here doesn't understand that there are cycles that govern the time period that we're in. Where we measure time in cycle ages, we may have smaller ages that are only, 1,000, 2,000 years. But then we also have larger cycles of 6,000 years. And then we have a greater cycle of, as it says here, 25,920 years. Some say between 24 to 25, almost 26,000 years. And we measure time in these cycle ages because it comes to an understanding that now I know some people think the earth is flat. It doesn't really matter what you think. That regardless of what you think, that this planet, this realm, this earth realm that we live in, right? There's cycles that govern it. Just as they say it goes around the sun, and I'm not saying this like I don't think there's actually a sun. They say that it goes around the sun and you have a year. There's also a gray sun at the center of the Milky Way galaxy that our entire solar system revolves around. And in 25,920 years, it's completed a great year. And that as it goes through this cycle, it enters different stages, different energy signatures that affect the entire planet. Now, I'm saying this not to be all wordy and to be saying too much. I'm just saying this to say that Prophet Noble Drew Ali came in due time to prepare us for the new age that we are entering into. As you can see on this diagram that's up here on the screen, it says that the vernal equinox point, right? Going from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, a very real occurrence that is happening right now. We are either already in the age of Aquarius, or we're just, still in the middle point, going between from one to another, right? We're entering into a whole entire new age. All right. And so just wanted to share that before we really go in any further about the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because he came to prepare us. Is there anything that you would like to share, Brother Clement L., Chairman of Temple 30? Is there any thing you would like to share on this topic before we really get started? Speaking about
Islam, I would say nay. Praise Allah, highest gratitude for asking.
Okay, Islam. All right, let's keep it moving. So, not to keep going on about this, but you're saying, like, man, this is incredible. So we have a prophet of Allah who came to prepare us for this age that we are entering into now. And yes, we will be discussing that man, that prophet, that angel of Allah, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And we're going to be talking about him today, discussing even why, we celebrate the birth of this man on January 8th. Now, what I would ask for you, Brother Clement L., is just anytime I'm going to go blow through these slides really quickly. But I say, like, if there's anything that you want to jump in and say, feel free to, just to speak up. Anything
Islam, absolutely. Praise Allah and gratitude.
All right. Yeah. And we're talking about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. He came to change the, misnomers, the misinformation, the misclassifications that have been placed on us, but even at a greater level to uplift fallen humanity, right? Now, here's the thing. Now, if we really look at what's occurred, now with this meme that you see up here on the screen, of course, you have these people that have been labeled as Black and Negro, and they're being shackled, put in the, into slavery. It looks like they're actually getting put onto a slave ship. And Islam, Brother Ken, would you mind sharing the StreamYard link with our brother
Islam? Absolutely.
Gratitude. All right, so you have the people at the top of this diagram that are actually going into the slave making process, right? They're getting put on a ship, it looks like, and it says 1779 to 1865, Black history. Why does it say that? Because Black history actually starts with slavery, which is ridiculous and crazy, but it really starts with slavery when you look into it, like the whole history of Black people. Now I know PBS, they've been talking about this online, how PBS, I guess they're losing their funding. PBS is getting shut down. But when you went to the pbs.org website to look at just Black history, like February, right? You look at Black history, they started off with slavery, literally. It's like those people didn't do anything before they were enslaved. So they start Black history off with slavery, and not just PBS. They're not the only ones that do this. That's just the only example maybe that I have up here. Okay. But just going back to this. So this diagram or this meme is showing that Black history starts with slavery. It starts with the enslavement, the subjugation of these people. However, Moorish history goes much, much further back. You see, this says 2600 BC, which is like 4,600 years ago, right? 4,600, 4,700 years ago, and potentially even further back than that, right? Because when you're going into the Moorish history, especially from our perspective, we're talking about the creators of civilization. And those people measured time in cycle ages. They also understood the things that would be occurring in the future, because you understand the cycles that the entire planet would be going through. So while you may not know each and every little detail that's going to happen, you have an idea of what's coming in the future. Potentially you can prepare for it, to leave information for future generations. You can prepare for the changes that are coming if you're approaching the end of one age, the end of one cycle, right? And so we're talking about people with that level of understanding, this is what Prophet Noble Drew Ali is returning us to. This level of understanding where we measure time and cycle ages. We have an idea of what's going on. We have an understanding of what's happening, what's coming, where we're at, right? And even affecting the whole entire planet, all right? Even at that level. So moving back into this, yeah, they start our story off with slavery and disconnected us from who we truly were or truly are as Moorish Americans. And I say who we truly are versus who we truly were because no one can change our descendant nature. Their power and authority will have to extend beyond the creator, extend beyond Allah in order for them to be able to change. So you can't, just because you trick those people, may have fooled them, may have fooled the world as to who they truly are, doesn't mean you actually changed anything, right? And so these people didn't just trick us. They also started to make laws that govern how these so-called Negroes and colored people would be treated within society. They were put at the bottom as a permanent underclass. We have the Negro Law of South Carolina up here, which is just one example of some of the things that were done to our people. But when you look at the Negro Law, it says right here in Chapter 1 of this document, this is the Negro Law of South Carolina, says the status of the Negro, his rights and disabilities. And I'm just going to skip down to section 4. You can see it blown up on the right side of the screen. The term Negro is confined to slave Africans. But then when it says slave Africans, it says the ancient Berbers and their descendants, which is the Moors. So that even in the wording of the law, it's letting you know that these Negroes are actually the ancient Moors. So it's saying the ancient Berbers and their descendants. It does not embrace the free inhabitants of Africa, meaning people who know who they are, such as Egyptians, Moors, or the Negro Asiatics, such as the Lascars, right? And so this was just one example. I wanted to show this up here because even within this law, when you read through it and you look at section 3, it's actually letting you know that the indigenous people were getting moved into the Negro category as well. Not just people who were brought on slave ships from Africa, but also the so-called Indians that were living in this land at the time. The burden of proof, we're going to read section 3. It says Indians and descendants of Indians are regarded as free Indians in amity with this government until the contrary be shown. And in the second provision of section 1 of the Act of 1740, it is declared that every Negro, Indian, mulatto, and mestizo is a slave, unless the contrary can be made to appear. Yet, in the same, it is immediately thereafter provided, the Indian in amity with this government, except in which is the case, the burden of proof shall lie on the defendant, that is, on the person claiming the Indian plaintiff to be a slave. All right. So it's letting you know that all of these so-called indigenous people were of the slave class, the slave caste system, or slave class. They're all automatically considered of the slave class. They're all considered Negroes. And the burden of proof is on them to show that they're not Negroes. And this is how so many people got marked as Negro slaves or Negroes, or you know, even if they had their freedom, they were still being restricted by all of these Negro laws and Negro codes, black codes that were being formed to restrict their movement, restrict their power, right? They were being branded as freedmen, free slaves, or, you know, ex-slaves, even if they had never been enslaved. The slavery that they went under was taking on that label, being labeled as a part of the slave class, because you have to, when you look into the history of this country in various sections, various states, Negroes couldn't own property. Negroes couldn't vote. Negroes couldn't own guns. which means that they can't like form militias and be able to protect themselves, defend themselves. Negroes couldn't. I already said they couldn't vote, but they, even in some cases, in many cases, Negroes couldn't even read. They couldn't get educated. They could get put to death for doing things like that, right? So these things were being put into place to restrict our movement, to torture, to steal from these people, to steal from our ancestors, to place us in a limited position. And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali actually came to undo all this. He's like, okay, yeah, that's who they said you are. This is who you truly are. What you see up there on the screen, it's just a portion from our Quran, chapter 47, and the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, speaking about the actual identity or origin of these people. Right now, as I said, I don't want to take too long going through this, but just letting it be known, we understand, we know that our people were living over here as well as other parts of the world way before colonialism started. And that's why you have cases of people who, as you can see up here on the screen, these portrait of Inca noblemen, these 3 Inca noblemen, right? Dark-skinned brothers who even have on, some jewelry and stuff that many people would have considered like, African or something like that. But just saying that we know our people were over here and we're even conducting trade and doing things of that nature far, far before the Europeans started coming over here, or at least the pale-skinned Europeans. Throughout Europe, they used to portray the ancient Americans as what they call blackamoors, which you see some of the artwork and stuff up here on the screen, right? Sculptures, artwork, pictures, everything was portraying the so-called Indian as a blackamoor, which is something you don't see at all nowadays, right? People think about so-called Indians, they're like lighter skinned than me and they have straight black hair, right? But back in the days, you can see this person's hair, they have, woolly hair, curly hair and dark skin. Okay. And so we understand this. We know this. This is how the indigenous people portrayed themselves in many cases. Right. So just getting into this understanding that the Prophet returned this information to us, this information that had been taken from us or stolen or hidden. Right. And one other thing I wanted to speak on too, also briefly. Now, this excerpt was taken from the book The Secrets of Freemasonry by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But you can also go and actually get this this excerpt from this meeting of the Virginia House of Delegates in 1832. All right, it's like an entire little booklet. You can download it for free. This was Henry Berry speaking in the Virginia House of Delegates in 1832. And he was describing a situation that existed at that time in many parts of the South, not just Virginia. And he was telling the delegates, we have as far as possible closed every avenue by which light may enter the slave's mind. If we could extinguish the capacity to see the light, our work would be complete. They would then be on a level with the beast of the field and we should be safe. All right. So that quote, with putting it in the proper context, just briefly, they were discussing slavery. And this person, I think, was trying to make the case for why slavery should end, even though it would sound like he's saying, hey, we have to do something about those Negroes, right? But he was saying, like, hey, the work has been done. We've, as far as possible, closed every avenue by which light may enter the slave's mind. And he's saying this in the Virginia House of Delegates. This is on the record, official American history, even though it's not being taught, right? And so this site, just to read a little bit more from the Secrets of Freemasonry, is trying to put that quote in the proper context, because the language is being used when he's saying the light. It's not like how we are talking when we say, hey, turn the lights on, right? No, when he's speaking the light, he's using jargon or terminology common to men of higher knowledge. Men of higher knowledge use the term light to describe knowledge not common to the common man. Many of the founding fathers of this country were and still are high degree Masons and Shriners. They have sworn oaths not to reveal what they call secrets. And it just so happens that the secrets they are bound by oath to keep secret just happen to be the truths to free you and I from our grave of ignorance. So in that passage above, they're not voting, they're not deliberating on whether or not the truth was going to be revealed. They're deliberating on how to destroy the capacity even just to see the light at all, if that's even possible, to destroy it from ever even happening, not even to be able to perceive the light, to have greater knowledge, higher understanding. Okay? And so the cutting off of our light was being discussed by lawmakers. And then we have the same wording, the same terminology being used by Prophet Noble Drew Ali when he came to our people in the early 20th century. In this quote from Prophet Noble Drew Ali's proclamation, it was Drew Ali in time. He said, in 1774, your light was cut off from the ancient Moors, and that is why Allah has sent us a prophet in 1886 to prepare the light that was out. In 1925, the prophet said, I have mended the broken wires and have connected them with higher powers. So come on, Asiatics, don't you want to go? That's from Drew Ali in time, right? So the same terminology about the light being cut off is being used. Also in the divine warning by the prophet for the nations. You who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know the law in the city hall and among the officials in your government and ask them under an intelligent tone, and they will be glad to render you a favorable reply, for they are glad to see me bring you out of what? Out of darkness into marvelous light, right? So that he's saying, you go to the city hall, you talk to the officials, state officials, county government officials in a intelligent tone, and they'll be glad to assist. They're glad to see the prophet bring us out of darkness into light. So now we can actually think for ourselves. Remember, before I was showing about this, how we measure time in cycle ages, because without this understanding, we can't even measure time. We can't even tell what time it is. We in the dark. We don't even know what time it is. Okay? It's kind of like basic knowledge, right? Everybody has to know what time it is. But without understanding, we don't even know. So without understanding, to add something to that, without understanding, we wouldn't even know that it's time for us to rise. We wouldn't even know that all these things that are happening, no matter how crazy they are, no matter how good they are or negative they seem, it's all happening to return us to the top. It's our time to rise. How do I know that? How do we know that as Moorish American Muslims? Well, we can look at the cycle ages that we're entering into, and we can determine that we are entering into an age of enlightenment, that we are entering into a new age, that even if others are trying to manipulate this time to benefit them, it's all working out to our benefit at the end of the day, right? But if we don't know how to tell time, we don't have the light, we can't even be getting prepared, right? We'll be sitting here like sitting ducks. Maybe somebody else could take advantage of us. That's why I said, like, even when you first join the Moorish Science Temple of America, you automatically are beginning to, well, maybe I shouldn't say automatically, but within a short amount of time, you're already able to see things from another perspective, a Moorish perspective, an ancient perspective. All right. You're getting out of the linear way of seeing, measuring time, and you already know that we measure and cycle ages. So you know to look and let me see, what are these ages? What does the age of Aquarius even mean? That's something that we could pull up right now, Brother Kobe. If you could pull up some info just on the age of Aquarius, right? What it would mean, from the procession, right? Of the age that we're entering into. What are some of the characteristics of the age of Aquarius? And the reason we measure and cycle ages is because we've been through this before. This has happened before. We've gone through dark periods before. We've entered into enlightenment before. We've gone and done it all over again. All right. So we are into a new age and want to send some love out to you, Sister Islam. Gratitude. And all, yes, all honor to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Right. So bringing this understanding back to us, we don't need anybody else to co-sign on it. We don't need anyone else's permission to have this understanding, right? We don't need anybody to agree with us. Going back to the same wording that the prophet used for the, and he wasn't just using words. He backed this stuff up with real work, and also with the information that he left for us to continue to transform ourselves. That's what the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America is for. It's for personal transformation, self-transformation, right? To raise our thoughts up to divine wisdom, to align with our own higher self, which is aligning with Allah, aligning with the very creator of the universe, even if that sounds unbelievable for people. So going back to the divine warning by the prophet for the nations, once again, he's using that same wording that those delegates were using in Virginia, speaking about extinguishing the capacity to see the light. We will be level with the beast of the field, and they would be safe. They can rule over us safely without worrying about the uprising, right? So this same understanding prophet had that, and he's bringing it to us, helping to open up our own eyes. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with the divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which is being committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way. And without understanding, listen to this, they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there's not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc. All right. So getting back to this, and I'm going to cut it off there. I'm not going to finish the rest of the quote, but you can get that from the divine warning by the prophet for the nations. And if anybody wants that literature and doesn't have it, I mean, I'm gonna pull up the temple website, because we do have the prophet's literature on there. So for people that want the proclamations, that want this information from the prophet Noble Drew Ali, we do have it. We have it for the world. And let me pull that up real quick. So you can go to www.moorishamericans.com. That's simple. Just go to moorishamericans.com. Wait for it to load. And when you see Temple Store, click right there on Temple Store. So anyone can buy the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America and the Moorish literature book. You don't have to be a member, right? Where, you do have to be a member to get our constitutions and our nationality card. But yeah, if you just want the literature, you want to read that whole divine warning and everything else that's in there for yourself, just go there and order it. Only $9 plus shipping and handling. And you can also get the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It explains everything. And here it says it's a compilation of 47 official proclamations from the prophet. So everything's not from Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but the reason it says it's from the prophet is because they were published in the Moorish Guide, and the prophet Noble Drew Ali was the editor. So everything was approved of by the prophet. All right, so you can get that. There's also some correspondences in there from the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheik, Brother E. Millie Ill. So yeah, this is definitely an important historical document that all Moorish Americans should have. So just wanted to put that in there. In regards to the tea, you reach out to me later, or you can comment on the video and just have your email or phone number, and we'll reach out to you to get that information to you later, because I don't have the information right here in front of me. We don't make the teas here in Ohio, but we can connect you with the Moorish so that you can get it, right? But yeah, just going back to there, go to moorishamericans.com. go to the temple store, click that. You got the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America and the Quran questionnaire. That's all in one book. So the whole entire Quran questionnaire is in there at the back. Make sure that you get that literature. Not only would you be supporting our local temple, which is great, you can help us in that work, the great work of uplifting fallen humanity, but you can get this information and understanding for yourself and for your household, right? So make sure that you do get your copies of the Moorish, the Holy Quran, and the Moorish literature. All right, and to keep things moving, so the Prophet made it very clear that he was here to bring the light, or bring us out of darkness into light. All right, and so once you're out of darkness into light, you can see for yourselves. Remember, I was saying, like, we wouldn't even know how to measure time. We wouldn't even know what time it is. Right now, all the stuff they're showing, the 3-eye atlas, they're not even talking about that no more. Right, they're not even talking about it anymore, but that has something to do with us. And everything that's going on, we can now interpret things from our own perspective. We don't need anyone else to co-sign or give us permission, which is a great thing. I see you, Brother Kobe. It looks like you're in here twice. Just want to say, Brother Kobe or Brother Clement L, if either one of you want to speak, just unmute and feel free to just start speaking at any point in time. So it wasn't just about saying, hey, you're not Negro, black, or colored, right? The actual understanding that comes with returning to your true divine nature is returned to us, right? Also giving us the work on subduing our own carnal nature, our own lower self, to unfold our higher self. Why is that important? Well, that's something that our ancestors were working hard on, and it was so important to them that in many cases they carved this knowledge and wisdom into stone. And when I say they, I'm trying to get some picture examples up here for you. Usually I have the pictures up here while I'm saying this so that you can see. And like, they literally, like, when I say they, like in ancient Egypt, you'll see the pharaoh carved out of stone, and he's got Horus sitting on his shoulder, and Horus's wings are coming down. And if you're looking at it from the front, it looks like it's his headdress coming down. But then when you go to the side, you realize those are the wings. And then when you go and you understand their culture and their approach to life, you see that that's signifying that this ruler is actually unified with his own higher self. Right? So he's ruling from the higher self. He's thinking, acting, and doing from the higher self. Yes. And yes, I see what you're saying in the chat about the tea. That is very important. Yes, so definitely reach out to us, because it got the same formula. It's been like 100 years now, and it's still keeping it the same. I believe it's the same family that's been doing it too as well. So yeah, we can work to get you in touch with those Moors. I don't have any other information though. I'll just have to make a few phone calls. Well, we get that for you. We can definitely do that, right? And so, there's so much symbology that shows that our people were laid to rest in the coffin, right? We were put down. The light had been removed. We were seen as the dead. And that's why in many of these shows, these apocalyptic movies, it's about the zombies rising, the dead rising. And there's this horde of the dead that rises, that takes over. It's unstoppable. There's nothing they can really do to end these zombies from taking over the world. But that's the living dead. That's the dead returning, rising. And in many ways, like subconsciously, that represents us as a people. And so many people make that, when they write these horror stories, they write that because subconsciously that's how they feel. But also, this fits into the narrative that has to be played out to show to the world what's going on. And like, hey, they're losing control. No matter how things look, they're going to fall to the zombies. They're going to fall to the living dead, right? Now, for us as Moorish Americans, we're not the living dead, right? We understand who we truly are. We're rising up. We're uplifting fallen humanity. Okay. But that's how people who are going out of power are depicting it. You know, the bad guys, the monsters are taking over. I just want to say, oh, sister, I don't see your email in the chat, but I'm gonna put my email in here. And knowing how YouTube works, I have to spread things out, or they'll block the link. But here we go. Bay at moorsinamerica.com. So I don't see your email, but just reach out to me at bay at moorsinamerica.com. All right, and then just going back to this, everything that we're seeing, especially in the mainstream perspective, is being done from the perspective of those who try to cover up the light, right? Who try to keep us from even being able to perceive the light. Everything's being done with trickery. The images that you're seeing up here on the screen are on here for a reason. Like, for example, um, the this image here on the right, where it looks like you have the Moorish flag. This is actually from the oldest Grand Lodge in the world, or at least the oldest Freemasonic Grand Lodge, and that's the Grand Lodge in England. And on the roof, like in the ceiling, not the roof, but in the ceiling, when you look up in the tapestry that they have painted on there, you'll see like this Eye of Providence, right? And then they have like the two columns, and then it looks like rays of light coming down with the red background, and then with the five-pointed green star. And just the way that the light rays, it looks like a flag with folds in it, right? And it's our flag, but it's hidden in there, and it's hidden in such a way that it's so easy to overlook it, so that nobody will even think anything of it. You can see that thing 1,000 times and still not notice what's right there in plain sight. The stuff's been hidden in plain sight the whole time, who we truly are. Even the symbols and stuff that's on stuff like the dollar bill. Like, why was that pyramid on there on the $1 bill, the most commonly circulated currency? Why is the pyramid on there that then has the capstone floating with the Eye of Ra? Right? These are our symbols, our ancient symbols. No one else is going to tell us this. The only person who would reveal this to us, or who has revealed this to us, unashamed, with full honesty, is Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Right? We were cut off from our illustrious history, but we're being returned to our true nature. The Negro is a creation, and it starts with slavery. That's why I was talking about that from the very beginning. Right? It doesn't have ancestors, and it's incapable of ancestry. It's non-descendable. The Negro is nihilus filius. It's a quasi-human. It's here to be mistreated, to be taken advantage of, to be used, and then tossed to the side eventually. Right? So that's the positioning that we were in, and we're coming out of it. And just wanted to, share those words, just to speak on the importance of what Prophet Noble Drew Ali did. And I want to make sure that I also yield the floor to our Sheiks here at Triple 30. Brothers, please just share your thoughts on Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And let's just go with Brother Clement L. and then Brother Colvey. Please just share your thoughts and words on Prophet Noble Drew Ali on this incredible day.
Islam. First and foremost, I'm risen giving all praise to Allah, highest honors to his prophet, Noble Drew Ali, highest honors to all the divinely led prophets, highest honors to the forerunners, to the prophet, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and all the others. Highest honors to our Supreme Grand Sheik, King Umar Bey, up in Mecca, all his staff and officials. Highest honors to our Grand Sheik here in Columbus, Ohio, Grand Sheik Douglas L. Highest honors to all of our staff and officials. Highest honors to our brother Cole Bay. Highest honors to everybody that is tapped in, streaming live. Highest honors to all the Moorish American Muslims worldwide that are utilizing today to celebrate and honor the prophet. Uh, a few things, because we've been having a few conversations, and it's really divine, the order in which we made it here to this conversation that we're having on this day. To rewind it back, you know, that the age of Aquarius part, you know, seeing how we're in the midst of this, some people gonna call it the next industrial revolution. This advances in technology that we're experiencing, the rapid expansion, the rapid growth. Some people would say that is a sign of being in the age of Aquarius. Um, Aside from the technological aspects of Aquarius, something else that Aquarius is known for is to be a humanitarian. And that's one thing that, I was just talking to my wife about this today. Like, one thing, not just today, is something that we talk about actually a lot, but like today, it's just becoming more prevalent that humanitarianism, like, just looking at how there's so much going on in the world that we see, but at the same time, there are monks walking for peace. There's different people that are actually out in the world, making steps and doing the real, like the real life work, like you know looking at what the popes just did, this call for unity is global. It's everybody that is noticing that unity is what brings peace. Like, you know this is the prophet's prophecies coming to light, and because of elders who have kept the doors open, who have made sure to continuously print these literatures, that we have been able to even get a glimpse of what the prophet left for us. So, you know, there's so many things even intertwined in what I just said. That's like, you know, when we think about how and what the prophet left us, and how it promotes us to be the best versions of ourselves, that it just is like, leaves me speechless in that thought. With that thought, it pushes me to what I wanted to read, because from Moorish leaders' historical message to America, one aspect of something that the prophet said, 'cause we have had multiple lives, or whether it's in a Sunday school. Moors, make sure you make your meetings. That is it's part of the law. That we uncover that economic security is a part of our religion, and humanitarianism and charity and gratitude is a part of our religion, part of our law, our instructions. And it's within that thought that when we read the conclusion, just because even in the paragraph before, when he says our men, women, and children should be taught to believe in the capacity of our group to succeed in business in spite of the trials and failures of some of them, thoughts like that. But like more importantly, in conclusion, I urge you to remember there is enough work for all to do in helping to build a better world. The problems of life are largely social and economic. In our Holy Quran, you know, we have a definition on what the true economy of life is. So to see the prophet say the problems of life are largely social and economic, one says, indeed. And then he says, in a profound sense, they are moral and spiritual. And that part, like when we read more of what he was saying before this conclusion, and we see exactly what he's saying, we start to uncover two things. We start to uncover the instructions and the things that we were instructed to do, and we start to uncover who hasn't been doing these things. So I say, for me personally, praise Allah, and highest honors is Prophet Noble Ali. Praise Allah that I was able to, finally just accept the call and accept the task of assisting the prophet. And
Islam, brother, if I could get you to pause right there. Just what you
indeed.
said is so profound. Just in that being able to accept the call is so important because like in this day and time, the pull, to do other stuff is so strong. I just keep it simple, like just other stuff. That can be anything. It ain't even just all evil stuff, just other stuff. There's so much stuff you can get into, even if that stuff is just sitting at home, just binge watching shows and eating and stuff like that. It's like there's so much other stuff that could be doing. To not even get into the process of working on subduing your own lower self, your carnal nature, and being a part of this, this team of light workers working to uplift fallen humanity. That's not the easy route to go. That's not the easy task to take on. And so, yeah, that's powerful, brother. Just want to yield the floor back to you.
Islam, and praise Allah. I was, honestly, just closing out because, you know, to be honest, that is what that's what I learned. The materials, the tools, the instructions, the literature that the prophet left us to be. And it gets confirmed on a regular basis that when we follow the instructions when doing anything, you are just about guaranteed success at achieving what it is that you're looking to achieve. So, if we're talking about uh attaining, perfectness and oneness with Allah, and subduing the lower self, and identifying what the foes of 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 our higher self are, and taking the actions to actually apply the tools and apply the instructions so that we can get the results. That's really what the prophet encourages us and instructs us again to do. We have an instruction to support instructions, many instructions to support instructions. It's no mistake that he was born today during Capricorn season.
Islam, brother. Just to add to
Islam.
what you're saying, like definitely, and the vast majority of the work that we have is on ourselves, on unfolding our higher self, and it's so important. It's the majority of what we do, just working on ourselves, controlling our own thoughts, and then thoughts, deeds, and actions, and actually doing the work to bring about Allah within. And when you look at like the more ancient cultures, especially Egypt, but even some of the ancient cultures over here in the ancient Americas, it was all about subduing the lower self. And of course, the artwork was about subduing the lower self. The sculptures, even things carved out of stone, were about subduing the lower self. Even the buildings and temples, the very structure of the building, how the buildings were formed and shaped, and why they look like this, and why it's pointing in this direction, and why it has 12 or 13 rooms. It's like all of this work, all of this stuff was being done to symbolize that great task that we all must do, to master our lower animal nature, to find our true self, to come into balance, to rule from the higher self. It was all about it. And no one was trying to clue us into this. Even some of these people who claim to be like Egyptologists that are supposed to be experts on this ancient culture, and they don't even understand it. They're looking and say, "Oh, they worship death. They're death cults." And it's like, how are you going to say that when everything they're doing is symbolizing working how this is how you master your lower self? It's a reminder, a daily reminder. We're going to put it here. We're going to put it there. We're going to carve it out of gold. We're going to carve it into stone. A daily reminder to stay on your job. Do the work to subdue your lower self. This is who we are. This is what we do. This is our life. This is Islam. That's Islam.
Islam,
Way of life. And so they were, oh, no, they worship hundreds of gods, and they were death cult. You don't know what they were because you're coming at it from a pale-skinned Roman perspective and not knocking any people, just saying that perspective is a limited perspective you can't understand. This is why our whole entire mind and philosophy and approach on life had to be changed. We have to go back to the ways of our ancient forefathers. We have to understand how we truly measure time, right? In cycle ages, because we're coming back in it. Saying they were measuring, they were going through cycle ages, and so are we. So we're returning back to this, and now beginning to leave behind these foreign constructs that have us looking at the entire world upside down, inside out, and messed up, right? So now we can understand and actually begin to uplift ourselves, and then by default uplift others as well, and also work, to assist and help others in the community, help people, right, from across the board. But this is, just the misunderstanding, right, and it can't be taught properly because there's no proper understanding. So we have to, change our whole entire mindset. You have to come in and get this Islamism so that you can change your life and change the way you see, breathe, talk, the even the breaths that we take and how we breathe, right? Not just doing it mindlessly, right? We breathing in, we slowing our breaths down. We're doing things consciously. And so, I just wanted to add that, just to put things in that proper context so it's understood why we really do this and why we uphold our prophet. This isn't a game. Nobody's playing games here. And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali definitely wasn't playing games, and with this great um, divine work that he did and that he's still doing, still changing lives. And that's how come people, even though the Prophet left the scene from the physical perspective nearly 100 years ago, he is still changing people's lives, men, women, and children. And I yield the floor right back to you. And then, brother Cole Bages, feel free to jump right on in. Islam.
Islam, praise Allah. What you were just saying, just brought me, to the closing of even this reading where the prophet tells us to have lofty conceptions of your duties or of our duties towards our countrymen and fellow men in general, and especially with those whom we deal. This includes such honesty and righteousness as will cause you to put yourself in the other fellow's place. Look for the best in others and give them the best that is in you. Have a deeper appreciation for womanhood. Brighten the hopes of our youth in order that their courage be increased to dare and do wondrous things. Adhere at all times to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I am your affectionate leader. I shall continue to labor night and day and night, both in public and private, for your good, thereby contributing to the welfare of our country and its people as a whole. Noble Drawley, you know, when you see that, those instructions, where there can't be a argument or a debate with instructions like that, right? Have lofty conceptions of your duties towards your country and fellow men in general. Like, a lofty conception is a noble idea, it's an elevated thought or grand vision, right? We want the best for our people because that's what our hearts say, because that's the nearest place to meet Allah. So honors to Prophet Noble Ali for bringing me this awareness and bringing me the words so that I can communicate these thoughts and feelings and emotions in the way that I've been taught. With that, I yield. Peace and love.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Gratitude, but yet, brother, Chairman D. Clement, you about to make it hard for me. And and before
Islam.
and before I do anything, let me give all praises to great God Allah, the Father of the universe. Honors to the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, 140 years. Noble Jew Ali. Uh, I can go back 7 years And I didn't really know the prophet like that. I knew the Moors. I knew what it was about a little bit. I knew what Hebrew Israelites was. I knew what the Nation of Islam was. I knew what Christians were. The prophet, I'm just gonna go ahead and just keep it real. I'm just the prophet on his day showed me really the light. I moved through different fractions of the temples. I moved through to seeing what needed to be from back in the day to where it is now. The prophet even said, and again, we got a lot of work to do because the prophet even told us that, 85 years from now in certain literature that where we were going to be. And we kind of like 20 years back. Before I even do all that, let's just activate it. This is the prophet's day. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, divinely prepared by the noble prophet Drew Ali, by the guidance of his father God, Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen stage of humanity back to the highest planes of life with his father God, Allah, Islam. Know thyself and Allah, the genealogy of Jesus, life and works of Jesus in India, in Europe, and in Africa, in the land of Egypt. Islamism. Noble Jew Ali, the prophet and the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, to redeem the people from their sinful ways. I just wanted to even open up that and then open up something else. I'm just giving what the prophet gave to me to kind of get everything in the mood. And again, cheeks. You know what I'm saying? You can cut the wisdom at any time and add in. I love it. It does not bother me at all. But I'm just gonna go into the Moorish literature. Let's go a little bit into the Moorish literature. Let's just go on this is for us and the prophet. Measure two. Prophet Noble Joe Ali speaks to the nations. Friday. That's tomorrow. September 28th, 1928. If you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America and be a part of this divine movement. Then we'll have power to redeem your race because you will know who you are. Mm. And your forefathers were, because there, pardon ourselves, because where there is unity, there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. Come, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now need. Every one of you who think that your conditions can be better, this is a field open to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your place in the affairs of men. If the Europeans and again, let me just put that rewind. If the Europeans, and that's another thing, I'm gonna get into that later. If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? Now we got to understand this is what the prophet was trying to do for us, and we got to understand when it comes to uplifting fallen humanity, and when we standing as members and we standing as officers, we got to know. I'm gonna read that one more time, and not just because of the word European at all. If the Europeans and the other nations are helping me, why not you? It is your problem. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can. And you know what the prophet meant by that. That's just one sentence, but that's so deep to me because me knowing and just looking and growing up in Chicago, lived in California, lived in different states, and just knowing it's all the same. And in that aspect of the Negro problem is being solved only as it can. That's why it's a lot of work, Islam. That's why it's a lot of work because that is, again, a classified adjective name that got put on a race of people that now are waking up. And I'm glad that the internet is in because we are waking up. It's a lot of foolishness on there, but it's a lot of real good. I'm gonna continue before I even break that open, and I just hope we can all just build and eat. And that is by Moorish National Divine Movement. If you have a nation, you must have a free national name, not something that's given by somebody else and just going about it and going with it to get along, go along to get along. In order to be recognized by the nations as an American citizen, this is what was meant when it said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things would be added onto you." Islam by the prophet. I just wanted to go into that real quickly because again, this is the prophet's birthright, 140 years, and even he, the prophet, prophesies where we should be. And the thing is, I'm not knocking it down. More as we finishing the fast, we are there. We are getting there. We just gotta fasten up them buttons. We gotta go ahead and lace them shoes up now, because now we can see. Before we couldn't. You know, the prophet even had problems getting people to see, but he got people to see. Islam, for those who got an ear to hear and got a heart to sympathize and see what is going on and is willing to uplift. Because again, it all starts, the prophet told us it all starts in the nation of the home. And within the nation of the home, it leads out to the nations of your community. It leads out to the nation of your community. Your nation and community have politicians. The politicians from the nation and the community get to your state, the state, and then outside the state. You understand what I'm saying? The vibration. The prophet gave us that with our creed, the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, to give us that vibration. Islam, that's what gives us that vibration. We would not have that vibration without that. We would not be. And then getting into more science and actually going through the pamphlet of the Holy Quran and going through your literature and going through your one-on-ones, go through those and employ all those. Islam, that's what the prophet wanted you to do, because then you will start thinking. And then what you gonna do as a more? You gonna free yourself. Islam, one of these chicks, come on, jump in with me. Come on. Go on, get some, go on, let's go feed on this day. This is the prophet's birthright, Islam.
Islam, brother. You know I agree with you, and just I see the sister in the chat saying that means it starts with our heaven. We manifest, and definitely this is what the brother is talking about. We started. The prophet gets us to thinking, and then we save ourselves. So we aren't even thinking right. We aren't even seeing right. We're not even hearing right. We don't even know what's taking place in the world around us. I'll give an example. You have an incident which just occurred with ICE, I guess, in Minnesota, Minneapolis. They killed a woman. It's just now coming out about the lady's appearance, that she's of European descent. When that first happened, all they said is that she was an American citizen. She was a citizen of the United States of America. She had a nationality. And that may lead to this being treated a little differently, right? I can't tell you what's going to happen. But I'm just saying, we wouldn't even understand because, if it happened to one of our people misnomered as black, it would have said black man or black woman killed by ICE instead of American citizen. Okay? And then we know what happens when you see that. Because usually what happens is whatever law enforcement, even in the case of George Zimmerman, he wasn't even law enforcement. Usually somebody who say he's a neighborhood watch, right? It's not funny. It's messed up. He wasn't even law enforcement, and he got off. They didn't even charge him with murder. I think they dropped the charges. Okay.
Islam.
So
I live
they
5 miles from there.
when they talking about us. Islam, brother, I yield the floor back to you.
Islam, just real briefly, I live 5 miles from there, and that's historically our town. And in Florida, we don't really like they'll brush past it if it's more of a HBCU or more of that type of situation when they say African American. But in in towns that are our towns, it's going to say more of the the Native American our Orishas, and it's going to also say the town that Freedom built, if anything, and that's all in that area. And again, that misguided, delusional human being was a person that was of Spanish descent that was adopted by a European.
Wow.
Islam, I
Yeah, with you saying that delusion, this mindset, if we're still under this color code system, the color caste system, foolishly going off of this race based system, black, white, we're so far behind the times and don't even realize it. And still don't realize why, even though we are entering into a new age, we no longer have to suffer. We no longer have to go along with the program. We have our own program. We have our own perspective. All you have to do is drop it, leave it, leave it. It's in the past. Leave that. It's time to rise up. So it's that simple. It's that easy. And that's how come in the 1920s, the Prophet Noble Drew Ali can put people in office, right? Even putting Asiatic people into office and can be moving with power. Where if he's going and taking a train, he's got his own car, right? And where usually they make our people sit in the back in a certain place where all the workers are, he could have, and he's being treated like a diplomat, all right? And our people were moving like that back then. We can move like that now, and in even greater capacity. All we have to do is change our mindset, and so that's how come the prophet came, to free our minds so that we could do the rest. All right, Moors, and I love you both, and gratitude for speaking and sharing on this great day about our illustrious prophet. And of course, if there's anything else either of you would like to say, please feel free to jump in.
Yeah, Islam. Really quick before we close out. I just wanted to emphasize, that Prophet Noble Drew Ali came with a program with literature, laws, and instructions that emphasize our evolution, and it all based in our spiritual and moral compass. Our realities will change, like you said, when our mindsets change. And the prophet is just saying, in order to change the mind, you have to change their literature. And that's why the prophet says, in order to be a true Moorish leader, you must study the Quran, and the divine constitution that is handed down. So, I just wanted to add that, you know, we're talking about our morals, our spirituality, correcting our situation, correcting our life. Every other thing, right? That's the statement, right? Seek first the kingdom, and all things will be added unto thee, which the prophet is also quoted as saying. So, I just wanted to add that. But with that, I yield. Peace and love.
Islam, Sheik. Powerful word. I just want to add and camel back on you. How did the prophet even know back measure 20 in the literature? So this is Chicago, Friday, October 26, 1928. All nations of the earth are now being forced to contribute their share in this American life. Now, I wanted to pause on that because when we first started, me and the Grand Sheik, long time ago, when everybody first started and got into it, we had, and I still got them too. I still got some of them flyers. It was going through the census. I had worked at the census maybe 4 or 5 times before back in the day. Uh, from I guess when I was grown, maybe 2000 all the way in then 2020. So I did special census and things of that nature. What I learned from that when it came to nationality that was so deep, and I went into my ancestry to trace myself back so deeply to find out that even through the census, they knew that, like when you look up that and you go ancestry, look up that even if you were a slave, where you was from, and you were from here. And even going back into that, well, when anybody looks at it, it says some of the nations here are put at a disadvantage supposedly because they happen to have a hue in every every other nation of the globe. So it wasn't going on here. So that's why I was trying to just demonstrate that a little bit too, that the prophet put it into the light that, hey, know what's going on in the game of the world, but it definitely in your world, so that you will know how to free yourself, so that you know how to get the generational wealth for you and your family and your family's family. So therefore, you know how to be able to navigate because of who you are, the navigator. Islam, are you?
Islam, Islam, brother, and with what you're saying, once again, it all comes down to changing our perspective on. First off, you have to know who you are, right? So you even know where you fit in this game, and whether you are the descendant of enslaved Africans, right? Like with that chart that was up here on the screen, do you started slavery? Do you Does your ancestry start in 76, or do you go back further than that? And if we go back further than that, we have to know that. That's not something that you can ignore, because it's like, then what are you what okay, how do you view the world? Because if you don't know this, we're viewing the whole entire world from a limited perspective. So it's like, wait, hold up, what religion are you? You say you're going where? Wait, hold up, why are you doing that? Our ancestors were the ones that gave the rest of these people a religion. We civilized the world. So you have to return back to who you truly are and begin to understand things, so that you can move as an authority. Because how can you move as an authority when you're following somebody else's ways and doing something that your ancestor gave them? You don't even know that ever took place. You think that they civilized you, right? You're thinking that, hey, we was backwards, uncivilized slaves, and they had to, raise us up. They had to give us something. So, hey, the whole entire perspective on who you are and also the world has to change in order for you to actually be able to fulfill your true potential. And so, we work together off of that common understanding to rebuild our communities, and in doing so, to rebuild our nation. And we don't have to fear, somebody stopping us and preventing us, because we're in a new age, new day, new age. All the fear, all that stuff is gone. It's like, look, we are on the come up. So we have to know this. We have to know who we are, even to be able to perceive things from that perspective. And the Prophet Noble Drew Ali came and was ready way back then. And the only reason we're coming into this now is because it took us a minute to get up to speed, to download whatever we needed to download from the universe, to get up to speed to where we're at now and where we will be in the future as we move forward. But it's time, Moors, and we definitely on time with this. And speaking of time, we don't want to take up too much of everybody's time here. Brothers, if there's anything that you would like to speak on, regarding the prophet, the things that you have going on that you're working on, please feel free to speak and share. And I'll definitely share my portion with everybody as well. And I yield the floor to you both, Chairman and Assistant Grand Sheik.
Islam. Can't say that I'm working on anything particular. Uh, I do have the cookbook out. Uh, I do have another book that I'm working on, Moorish American Health. Um, what what I want to do with that book is, you know, connect health, physical, mental, spiritual health, uh, and just point out uh, different aspects of instructions, lessons, and things left by our prophet and how they correlate and connect to the different aspects of our health. So I'm working on that, I guess. So I said I wasn't working on anything, but I'm working on that. Uh, should be having a date soon, not really. But other than that, just peace and love, highest gratitude, and highest honors to the prophet, Noble Jali. Uh, happy birthright. Peace and love.
Islam, chairman. And you got me working. Now you got me thinking. I didn't really have any. I had a few things on the wheels and burners. I was just actually just going and soaking through my city and just seeing what is needed. So I've been doing more of the John the Baptist, like just seeing what is needed. But when Sheik had said that information, go and talk to me a little bit later because I actually do things with like mild sauces. My mom, before she transitioned, was a cook. So and then when it goes to like the holistic stuff, she used to sell super blue green algae and things of that nature. So I wanted to actually talk to you about something like that so we can get something together, and then with the temple we can all get something together and again do that for the prophet Islam. And I
Islamism.
yield.
All right, Islam, and gratitude to you both. And before we close out completely, I do want to share a couple things with everybody here. First and foremost, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. Whether you are on the Moors in America platform or on the official Temple 30 YouTube spot, the official YouTube page for our temple, I just want to thank you and want to say, uh, please subscribe and click the bell on there so that you can get notifications when we update a new video. Right there. So yeah, Moors in America. Click subscribe or join. We also have special content on there for people that join. That's a new feature for the Moors in America platform. You can always go down there, and then also if you're subscribed to Moors in America, go subscribe to the Columbus MSTA, um, the official temple YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe, and when you do so, click the bell so that you can get notifications. Make sure that you do that. And you can also go to the moorishamericans.com website for the temple. You can make a free account on there. Right up here where it says login, you can go there, you sign up, you can create a free account. That's not joining the temple, that's just creating an account for the website. But just wanted to let you know that that is an option for you. And so also, Moors in America too, make sure you go to moorsinamerica.com. You can join us on Patreon, moorsinamerica.com, which is actually being updated right now. But if you go to moorsinamerica.com right now, you can purchase the book for Unlocking the Keys. Let me talk about that book briefly. Unlocking the Keys, over 400 pages, basically a metaphysical guide to the Quran questionnaire for Moorish Americans. goes through all 101 questions. Actually, it goes through the whole entire booklet from the cover to the back. All right. And so I advise everybody to get that, breaking down the keys, getting into their, speaking about what they're really talking about. And that's available. You can get it on moorsinamerica.com. I also put the link in the video description. If you want to buy that from me, I will send you an autographed copy. If you want to, you can just go on Amazon and get it. Anybody can get it from Amazon to ship it out to you. But if you get it straight from me, I will send out an autographed copy to you. That is Unlocking the Keys. 418 pages, right? Great book. If you want to just see a little preview of it, it goes through everything. See symbolism of the cover, right? The Moorish American prayer, just breaking everything down, then going into the keys, speaking on all of the keys in depth. And it's a great book, powerful, really about bringing out the power within you, which is right in alignment with what the prophet established all of this for. And then also working on a new project that's coming out. It's almost done. It's called the Divine Blueprint, and that is going through the whole entire Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So that's coming next. That's actually going to be out in just a few months, right? That's coming out this spring. So yeah, you're going to want to get that, because look at this. Look, this is just a table of contents. It goes through every chapter in depth, right? Breakdown and going into the actual meaning of these lessons, how to use them, how to utilize it for your life, pulling out the power that's within you. And so, yeah, that's called the Divine Blueprint. That's coming soon. All of that stuff will be available at moorsinamerica.com. So that's all coming soon. And just want to thank everybody that's here. Especially our panel, our guests, and everybody that's watching. Hit like and share. If I'm cutting it off before you Moors are done, just let me know. Otherwise, we're gonna go ahead and close things out. Is there anything else anybody wanted to say? All right. I will say this though. If you want to know more, if this touched you, speaking about the prophet, you want to learn more, definitely get in touch with the temple. I'm gonna say just go ahead and reach out to us at Temple 30.
Attend your meetings. Holy Day is tomorrow. Sunday school is Sunday. Attend your meetings.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter where you're located. I mean, you can listen in on Zoom. You can either just join with us, or we plug you in with somebody that's in your area. Want to say gratitude. Of course, gratitude for the support. We have much love for everybody that's here, and we're going to go ahead and close things out. But what you can do is get up with us, and we'll send you the information for the Zoom, or you can just go to moorishamericans.com. Just go to the temple website. We have the Zoom info on there too, so you can just go there and get it. And on that note, let's go ahead and get up out of here. Peace and love to everybody.
Peace and love.
Don't let your history start at slavery. Join with Moorish Science Temple, a lawfully chartered Islamic organization, and proclaim your nationality while helping us uplift fallen humanity. Founded by American prophet Noble Drew Ali and consistently promoted plans for the betterment of humankind. We are located in Columbus, Ohio. Visit our website www.moorishamericans.com and follow us on social media. We hold live meetings on Zoom every Friday and Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Give us a call at 614-407-4394 if you would like to join or send donations to help us uplift fallen humanity.
Highest quality handmade fezzes. Crafted fez with the finest wool, complete with tassel and leather sweatband. Wear the national headdress of Moorish Americans with pride and respect. 3XL size fez is a comfortable fit for brothers with dreadlocks. Shipping worldwide. Go to moorishfez.com to order.
CareMore is a non-profit organization focused on providing goods and services to families and individuals in our underfunded communities in Central Ohio. We have created an online presence to reach members of our Central Ohio communities, as well as local events and meetings to give away supplies and donations throughout the city all year long. Visit our website to learn more and to send a donation.
Every day, billions of searches are conducted online, therefore it is critical that your company stands out to the small percentage of clients who are essential to your business. Our team of local digital marketing consultants and SEO experts is eager to help your company achieve its goals through a consultative approach, top Google rankings, and collaboration with industry experts. Here at Adept Marketing Solutions, we stand for integrity, dedication, ingenuity, and results. We know how to navigate the ever-changing digital landscape and what brands must do to succeed. Visit our website to see what we can do to help you reach your goals. Fez Caps blends Moorish style with modern streetwear hats. The cutting-edge design features Moorish symbols with a silk tassel on the dome of the cap. More than just a fashion statement, Fez Caps represents something powerful and ancient within you. Go to fezcaps.com to order your Fez Cap now.
Unlock the Keys, a powerful guide to Moorish identity, divine law, and self-mastery. Praised by sheiks and scholars alike, and Moors across the nation are calling it a must-read. Grab your signed copy now at morrisonamerica.com for just $23. Or get the paperback on Amazon, also $23. Prefer digital? The Kindle version is only $3.99.